Now we move on to China. Starbucks says it is selling a 60% stake in its business in China as part of a $4 billion US dollar deal with investment firm Boyu Capital. Under this agreement, the world's biggest coffee chain will have a 40% stake in the Chinese retail operation and retain ownership of the Starbucks brand there. Starbucks has entered China in 1999, and the country is now its second largest market outside the US, but has struggled in recent years with the rise of homegrown brands like Luckin Coffee. The business will continue to be headquartered in Shanghai and will own and operate 8,000 outlets in the Chinese market, with plans to grow to as many as 20,000 locations. Now for this discussion, we welcome back Professor Hidekazu Sakai. He's a professor of Kansai Gaida University, joins us live from Osaka. Thank you very much, Professor, for staying with us and waiting for this discussion. Professor, what does Starbucks' decision to sell the majority, over 50% of stake in its China business, reveals about the challenges?
Well, I believe there are a lot of competitors in the Chinese coffee business market. I guess Starbucks has been expanding its retail networks in whole in China, but at the same time, there are a lot of the small new business companies coming in this market. And we all know that China has a long tradition of Chai tea the cultures. Therefore, coffee is not only the part of their drinking culture, but also they have the tea. And so it is not surprising to me. And also they adapted also Western culture, the last couple of decades, and they started drinking coffee a lot. But at the same time, there are all kinds of business coming out and to compete against Starbucks. So I guess this is some kind of the new Chinese coffee business emerging.
And do you think could this move signal a broader shift in how Western corporations manage their operations in Asia or China amid economic and political pressures?
Well, I'm not quite sure Starbucks is really representing Western culture. I would say Starbucks is American culture because Starbucks, the coffee started in the highway business in the United States, not in Europe. And when Starbucks came to Japan, for example, we already established pretty much coffee cultures, and we have a lot of the cafe in the cities. But Starbucks, the strength was its own network power. But once that network power was challenged by a similar business type, Starbucks will face very serious trouble. Therefore, Starbucks needs to diversify its menu or maybe taste and maybe different kinds of beans. And so therefore, this type of what do you call it? A chain store type of the coffee shop will face more difficult situation in the near future, I believe.
Professor, building on your answer, does Starbucks in Japan also face this kind of challenges that China's Starbucks faces?
Yeah, well, in Japan, my impression is that the Starbucks business in Japan is doing pretty good, but at the same time, we have high inflation problems. A lot of people argue that Starbucks coffee is too expensive, and we have a lot of 7-Eleven or the other many convenience store selling cheaper but tastes good coffee. Therefore, in case of Japan, it could face similar situations like China.
Going back to China now, what are the potential long-term implications of a greater Chinese investment control over major Western brands such as Starbucks?
Well, that's a pretty difficult question, but I always think that this type of a chain store type of business is maybe face very serious situation in the near future. Not only coffee business, but also let's say maybe retail food, the supermarket type of thing, or many others, because our what do you call it, marketing, the situation is very more diversified in our tastes, and also our preferences has been became so differentiated in terms of our own preferences. Therefore, I would say this chain type of the business needs to have the more detail, the marketing, the techniques, and they introduce new techniques to know what the consumers want.
Do you think Starbucks will learn these tactics from Japan's Starbucks, to ensure that they are successful like the Starbucks in Japan, in China as well?
Yeah. Well, some of Starbucks sometimes work with the bookstore. Sometimes they work with the like, I don't know, maybe some other business, like so like the music, whatever, so that they can what do you call it, the synergy effects. Because if you drink a coffee, maybe you want to do something else, like read books or listen to music, even want to check it out, something else, same time. Therefore, coffee is a very tricky business that you have to combine with something else, not just the coffee beans itself, but also you need maybe fancy atmosphere within a store, and you need I don't know, to focus on what the age you aim at. Like you want to have the younger people, or middle age, or older people. So those people's demands are very differentiated and very diversified as well. Therefore, coffee business is, I would say, needs more different perspectives.
Interesting. Thank you very much, Professor Hidekazu Sakai, for joining us as a professor of Kansai Gaidai University and sharing that insight all the way from Japan. And that's a wrap on the China Report. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.